Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets.
Sounds fun.
It is. And today,
Yeah.
we're going to dive headfirst into some really juicy tech topics.
Okay.
We've got Tesla's stock kind of doing the cha-cha.
Uh-huh.
Google's facing the music with antitrust issues.
Oh.
The crypto world is playing regulatory hopscotch.
Wow.
And we're even going to peek at what might be coming next in search.
Sounds like a lot.
It is. So grab your virtual floaties and let's get swimming.
Okay, so what's really fascinating to me is how these stories, while they seem totally unrelated, right?
Yeah.
They all highlight this push and pull between how crazy fast tech innovation is
Right.
and the efforts to actually regulate it.
Yeah.
It's a tricky balancing act.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with Tesla.
Okay.
Their stock has been on a roller coaster ride.
It has.
And while it's recently surged, UBS is kind of waving a little caution flag, right? Yeah, they're saying we shouldn't overestimate the influence of, shall we say, certain political connections on Tesla's valuation.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Because it makes you wonder, what's actually driving those valuations, right?
Right.
Is it really like purely technological progress? Or is there like a good amount of hype and investor perception mixed in?
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
You got Waymo, Google's self-driving car project,
Right?
with a solid $45 billion valuation
Okay.
for its robo-taxi service that's actually out there on the streets.
Yeah.
Then you got Tesla's autonomous vehicle dreams, valued way higher, in the hundreds of billions.
Really?
Even though they haven't even launched a comparable product. It makes you wonder, are we putting the cart before the horse with Tesla?
It really highlights how investor enthusiasm for all these emerging technologies can sometimes get ahead of the reality of their development.
Yeah.
Tesla is like the master
They are.
at captivating the public's imagination, right?
Yeah.
And that undeniably affects their market value.
It does. Speaking of market dominance,
Okay.
let's switch gears to Google.
All right.
The Department of Justice is coming after them again.
Really? Again?
This time, they're aiming to shake up their stronghold
Okay.
on search and advertising.
I see.
Google's been calling the shots for 2 decades, but could this be the spark
Oh, wow.
that ignites Browser Wars 3.0?
Browser Wars 3.0.
Imagine a world where Chrome isn't the default browser.
I mean, this kind of fits into this bigger pattern, right, of governments globally
Yeah.
really scrutinizing the power of all these tech giants.
Yeah.
It's not just about Google. It's about making sure there's a fair and competitive market for everyone.
Absolutely. And think about the possibilities for innovation.
Yeah.
If other browsers, like DuckDuckGo,
Oh, yeah.
Firefox, or even some brand new AI-powered options had a real shot,
Yeah.
it could totally change how we search for information online.
It's a really fascinating thought, and it ties into another big development that we're seeing, which is
What that?
the rise of alternative search agents,
Oh, okay.
like OpenAI's ChatGPT
Uh-huh.
and Google's own Gemini.
Okay.
These AI platforms are already changing the game.
Yeah.
They're offering a more conversational and personalized experience.
So what does all this mean
Yeah.
for the average person just trying to browse the web?
Well, for you, it could mean more choice,
Okay.
more innovation,
Yeah.
and ultimately a better online experience.
Okay.
But it also brings up some important questions
Like what?
about data privacy,
Uh-huh.
algorithmic bias,
Yeah.
and how these really powerful technologies shape how we access information.
Right.
These are all things that we need to be thinking about as we navigate this landscape that's like rapidly evolving.
And it's not just about what we see on our screens, is it? There's a whole other world of tech innovation happening,
Right.
literally reaching for the stars.
You're talking about Rocket Lab, right?
I am.
They've been quietly making waves in the space race.
Yeah.
They hit a new record with 14 launches this year.
14 launches? That's impressive.
It is.
Okay, it's still dwarfed by SpaceX's 100-plus launches.
Sure.
But what I find so interesting about Rocket Lab is their diverse client base.
Oh, yeah.
They're working with everyone from U.S. government agencies
Wow.
to international commercial partners.
And we can't forget about that recent $23.9 million contract.
Oh, right.
They got through the GPS Act.
That's a pretty clear sign.
It is.
That the government sees Rocket Lab
Yeah.
as a strategically important player in both aerospace and the tech sector.
Absolutely.
It feels like we're seeing a trend where governments are recognizing the importance of back-end domestic innovation and manufacturing.
Right.
Especially in these crucial areas like space technology and semiconductor production.
Exactly. It's not just about national pride. It's about economic competitiveness and national security in a world where technology is becoming increasingly tied to geopolitics.
So we've got Tesla's stock taking investors on a wild ride. Google's facing another antitrust showdown.
Yep.
The crypto world is tiptoeing through a regulatory minefield.
Yeah.
Alternative search engines trying to carve out their space.
Right.
And Rocket Lab blasting off into the cosmos.
Wow.
It seems like every corner of the tech world is buzzing right now.
It's definitely an exciting time to be following all these developments.
It is.
And it really underscores how technology isn't just about like fancy gadgets and gizmos. It's about shaping the future of our economy, our society, and even our place in the universe.
Before we move on, let's touch on what's happened in the crypto world.
Okay.
It feels like the industry's at a crossroads right now.
It does.
With regulation looming large.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, the crypto world is definitely at a pivotal moment. Okay.
We're seeing a shift away from regulation by enforcement, which has been like the dominant approach so far.
Yeah.
There's growing optimism about potential collaboration.
Oh, really?
With a Congress that's becoming more crypto-friendly.
There's been talk about the possibility of a White House crypto czar.
Oh, wow.
A dedicated position to oversee all things crypto. Do you think that would be helpful, or could it hinder the industry's growth? There are valid arguments on both sides.
That's a really intriguing idea, you know?
Yeah.
It reflects the growing recognition that crypto is here to stay.
It is.
And having a dedicated person in the White House could help streamline all the regulatory efforts and make sure that the U.S. stays a leader in this evolving space.
And that leadership is crucial.
It is.
Especially when you consider the sheer scale of the crypto market.
Absolutely. We're talking about a market that's currently valued at around $3 trillion.
Wow. With the potential to grow to $30 trillion.
That's huge.
It is. That's a market cap comparable to NVIDIA's. Yeah. And it's not something to be ignored.
And it's not just about the financial side of things, is it?
Right.
Crypto and blockchain technology have the potential to revolutionize so much, from supply chains to voting systems to how we interact with the internet.
It's mind-boggling.
It is.
This technology has the power to disrupt like all these traditional systems and empower individuals in ways we're only just beginning to understand.
Yeah.
But to really unlock that potential, right?
Yeah.
We need a regulatory framework that encourages innovation while still protecting consumers.
Sounds like a delicate balancing act.
It certainly is. And it's a conversation that needs to happen.
Absolutely.
Now let's circle back to the DOJ's case against Google and their potential divestiture of Chrome.
Yeah.
What do you think the chances are that we'll actually see this happen?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
And what kind of impact could it have on the browser landscape? I know. Imagine a world where we're not all funneled into Google's search results pages, but have a wider range of options.
Yeah.
It would be a major shakeup.
It would, and it could lead to a more diverse and innovative online experience. But like we talked about earlier, right? The challenge for all these alternative players is competing with Google's vast resources and its established infrastructure.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's not just about having a different browser.
Right.
It's about having the search algorithms, the data, and the partnerships to deliver a truly competitive product.
Exactly. And that's where things get tricky.
Yeah.
Building a successful search engine, it's a monumental task.
It is.
And it remains to be seen if any company outside of the tech giants
Yeah.
has the resources to take on Google head-to-head.
But maybe this is where those next-gen search agents we talked about earlier come in.
Okay.
Perhaps we'll see a future where AI-powered platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini become the go-to for search.
Okay.
Offering a more personalized and interactive experience that goes beyond traditional search results pages.
I see.
I mean, who doesn't love a chat bot that can answer all your questions?
That's a fascinating possibility.
Yeah.
You know, these AI platforms are already showing us that there are different ways to search for information, and they could play a major role in shaping the future of the internet.
All of this is incredibly interesting.
It is.
But before we get too carried away with the future, let's go back down to Earth for a moment.
Back to Rocket Lab, you mean?
Exactly. They're quietly racking up successful launches.
They are.
Securing government contracts, attracting international clients.
Yeah.
It seems like they're on a steady upward trajectory.
They are.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to their focus on innovation.
Right.
Reliability and strategic partnerships.
They're definitely a company to keep an eye on in the increasingly competitive space race.
It's getting crowded up there.
It is.
It'll be interesting to see how they continue to evolve and position themselves as a key player in the future of space exploration.
This brings us to a crucial question.
Okay.
What do all of these developments, from Tesla's stock surge to Google's antitrust woes to Rocket Lab's space ambitions, tell us about the bigger picture of the tech industry?
That's the big question.
What are the overarching trends, the key takeaways, and the implications for the future?
Yeah.
That's where we'll pick up in part 2 of this deep dive.
Looking forward to it. We'll delve into all those big themes and explore how all these seemingly separate stories are all connected in this complex web of innovation, regulation, and market forces.
Stay tuned.
I will. Welcome back to Byte-Sized Tech.
Thanks for having me back.
Last time we were starting to look at the bigger picture, like all the trends connect in these seemingly unrelated stories about Tesla, Google, crypto, and Rocket Lab.
It feels like we're at this turning point in tech.
Yeah.
Like there's a seismic shift happening right beneath our feet.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things driving this change, I think, is this growing tension between innovation and regulation.
Okay.
On one hand, you've got these incredibly powerful technologies emerging, right?
Yeah.
AI, blockchain, space exploration, things that could like revolutionize our world.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you see governments all over the globe struggling to figure out how to regulate these technologies in a way that protects consumers, fosters competition, and ensures things develop ethically.
It's like trying to tame a wild stallion.
Yeah.
While simultaneously urging it to run faster.
Exactly.
That's no easy feat.
You're telling me it's a challenge that's going to require careful consideration, open dialogue and collaboration between policymakers, industry leaders, and the public.
We need to find that sweet spot, that balance between foster innovation and making sure these technologies are used responsibly for the benefit of everyone.
And it's not just about finding the right regulatory framework, is it?
Right.
It's also about anticipating the unintended consequences these technologies might have.
Oh, like what?
Well, we've seen how social media platforms, for example, can be used to spread misinformation and create division.
Yeah.
We need to be aware of these potential pitfalls as we develop and implement new technologies.
And speaking of wider impact, let's talk about the economic implications of all these technological advancements.
Yeah.
We're seeing this massive shift toward automation, AI, and digital platforms, which is transforming the job market. It's raising concerns about income inequality and job displacement.
Right. And that directly impacts you.
Me.
Yeah. As automation and AI reshape the job market in the coming years, what can be done to like mitigate those negative impacts?
That's a critical issue that we absolutely have to address.
I agree.
We need to invest in education and retraining programs to give workers the skills they need for the jobs of the future.
It's about making sure everyone has the opportunity to benefit from these technological advancements.
So it's about creating a future where technology empowers people, not pushes them aside.
Exactly. And that's where I think the idea of a human-centered approach to technology comes in. It's about designing and using technologies that put human well-being first. Social justice and environmental sustainability.
That's a really powerful idea.
It is.
It shifts the focus away from just creating new technology to creating technology that serves humanity and helps build a better future for everyone.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah, and it's a concept I think will become increasingly important.
I think so too.
As we try to make sense of all the complexities of the 21st century.
So we've got all these powerful forces at play. Yeah. Innovation, regulation, economic disruption, ethical concerns, all kind of swirl in around this rapidly evolving tech landscape. It can feel a bit overwhelming.
It can.
What can our listeners do to stay informed and engaged in all of this?
That's a great question.
Thanks.
First and foremost, I encourage everyone to just stay curious and informed.
Okay.
Read articles.
Yeah.
Listen to podcasts. Attend webinars.
Yeah.
There are so many resources out there.
There are.
To help you understand all these complex topics.
And don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and engage in constructive dialogue about these issues.
Remember, the future of technology isn't set in stone.
It's not.
It's something we're all shaping together.
We are.
Through our choices and actions.
Well said.
Thanks.
We need to be active participants in this conversation, not passive bystanders.
Right.
Your voices matter.
They do.
And we have a responsibility to make sure technology is used for good.
Okay, so as we wrap up part 2 of our deep dive, I want to leave you with a few key things to remember.
Sounds good.
First, the tech industry is changing rapidly.
Yeah.
Driven by all these powerful forces like innovation, regulation, and economic disruption.
Second, these advancements offer both opportunities and challenges.
They do.
And it's super important to approach them with this human-centered mindset. Putting ethical considerations and social impact front and center.
Finally, we all have a role to play in shaping the future of technology.
We do.
By staying informed, engaging in discussions, and advocating for responsible development, we can make sure these technologies are used to create a better world for all.
Beautifully put. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Now, before we move on, it's important to acknowledge that all these technological advancements are happening all over the world.
You're right. While we've been focusing mainly on developments in the United States, it's crucial to remember that these trends are playing out globally.
Countries around the world are grappling with the same challenges and opportunities.
Yeah.
From regulating AI to fostering innovation in space exploration.
Right, and it's through international collaboration and sharing knowledge that we can truly harness the power of these technologies to address big global challenges. Like what? Like climate change, poverty, and disease.
That's a powerful reminder.
It is.
We need to move beyond just a nationalistic perspective.
Yeah.
And embrace a global mindset.
Right. The future of technology is interconnected.
It is.
And it demands collective action.
This brings us to an essential point.
Okay.
As we move forward into this uncertain and rapidly evolving technological landscape.
Yeah.
What are the key questions we should be asking ourselves? What are the potential pitfalls we need to watch out for?
Right.
And most importantly, how can we make sure that these technologies are used to create a more equitable, sustainable, and thriving future for everyone?
That's the big question.
That's where we'll pick up.
Okay.
In the final part of our deep dive.
I'm excited to explore all those questions with you and our listeners.
It promises to be a thought-provoking and insightful conversation.
It does.
Stay tuned for part 3.
Welcome back to the final part of our bite-sized tech deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground, from Tesla's stock roller coaster to Google's antitrust battles, the evolving landscape of crypto regulation, the rise of alternative search engines, and Rocket Lab's ambitious space ventures.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. And as we wrap up,
it's important to step back and think about the bigger questions these developments raise.
Like what?
Like, how can we make sure that technology serves humanity and not the other way around?
Yeah. How do we navigate this complex relationship between innovation, regulation, and social impact?
Right.
And with all these powerful tools that we have, what kind of future are we creating?
Those are some big questions.
They are.
But they're important ones to grapple with, especially with how fast technology is advancing.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new gadgets and innovations.
Yeah.
But we need to pause and think about the long-term consequences with the choices we make.
Exactly. We have to be mindful of the potential pitfalls, like the erosion of privacy, the spread of misinformation, and the gap between those who benefit from technology and those who are left behind.
It's about making sure that the benefits of technology are spread fairly and that everyone has a chance to be a part of this digital revolution.
Exactly. And that means being proactive about things like improving digital literacy, providing access to affordable internet, and creating education systems that prepare people for the jobs of the future.
It's also about building a culture of responsible innovation. Where ethical considerations are like baked into the design and development of new technologies.
Right. We need to move away from that move fast and break things mentality and really prioritize the well-being of people and society as a whole.
That's a critical shift.
Yes.
We need to ask ourselves, what are the values we want these technologies to embody? What kind of world do we want to create?
Right.
And how can we use these tools to tackle these pressing global challenges like climate change, poverty, and inequality?
Those are the questions that should be guiding our decisions.
They should.
Not just individually, but as a society.
Absolutely. The future of technology isn't predetermined. It's something that we're all actively shaping. With the choices we make and the actions we take.
Right. And it's up to each of us to make sure we're creating a future we can be proud of.
So as we close out this deep dive, let's leave our listeners with a call to action.
Sounds good.
Stay curious. Stay informed. And stay engaged in the conversation about the future of technology.
And don't be afraid to challenge assumptions.
Right.
Ask tough questions. And advocate for a more equitable, sustainable, and human-centered approach to how we develop technology.
The future is in our hands.
It is.
Let's work together to make it a future worth striving for.
Beautifully said.
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
If you enjoyed this episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.